This is a Real Nature Nurse, and I'm here to give you a basic rabbitry 101. And I'm going to start with the hutch and supplies that are needed. First off, I'll start with my hutch. I purchased this one from the Tractor Farm Supply Store. It's approximately 3 feet long. You can see it rests on legs. It comes about 4 foot high. It has a hinged lid here on the top, which you can see does have some covering here, rainproof. I would recommend putting a tarp over this as well and fastening it with some bungee cords, which you will see laying around here. I've got quite a few. I also like to secure this lid closed with bungee cords so that any predators that might attempt to get in, really, I had a weasel one time come after, but that's primarily the only problem I've ever had. Now, I do have dogs on the premises here, and I also have cats, so those help keep predators away and also help keep any field mice that may come, particularly in the winter after the rabbit's food. So you want a good sized hutch, and the first thing you want to do is set up your layout. Please make sure you plan this well. Once it's in place, you will find that the rabbit will become very finicky about your attempts to move her furniture. They don't like their houses rearranged. They'll become a little neurotic, possibly, or a little aggressive, possibly, and bunny bites do hurt. This is my Ginger. She's a New Zealand, and she's a sweet girl. She's happy with her home, and she's currently got some babies in there, actually. The next thing would be setting up a nesting box. You want something with a flat platform. Rabbits have to have relief from this grate here on the floor. Just as you wouldn't want to stand on that wire mesh all day, they won't either. They'll get sores on their hocks. A lot of problems. In addition, I put down here, this is just a dish mat for drying dishes that goes in your sink. I put that down here. She lays on that, and that rubber gives her some relief as well. So what I have here is an old wooden pop crate, and I just put some shims on it, screwed them right in with my drill, and I sealed this up with duct tape for now because it's November here, the winter's coming, and it just helps to keep the air from flowing through the cracks. You'll want to position this in a way that you're making the most of the square footage that you have in the pen for the rabbit. Now, I allowed enough height here between the top of my nesting box and the top rim of the hutch so that when I close the lid, she's still able to get up here and roost and nest, and she does do that often. I also want to discuss here something that's often overlooked, and that's this little thing right here, which is a green piece of fruit wood. Any fruit will do. It can be apple, it can be pear, they can be ornamental, they can be wild crab apples. You may have a neighbor that has some fruit trees. You can take a drive in the country. You don't need a chainsaw. You don't need big branches. About the diameter of your finger, and no larger is all that's required. You can prune these in the summer when it's much easier for you weather-wise, and store them in baggies in your freezer. They don't take up much space, but these are crucial to rabbit health. Rabbits have, they're in the rodent family, and their teeth will continue to grow. And just like beavers, they need something to whittle their teeth down. If the teeth do not have this green wood to chew on, and they will not do it on dead wood, so everything in here is not going to get chewed on. It's of no purpose other than shelter. Their teeth will continue to grow. They will grow not only downwards, but upwards towards the brain, through the sinus cavities. Puts them at risk of malnutrition, obviously, because they won't be able to chew or swallow their food correctly. Also, infections. It's a very slow, painful death for a rabbit. So the one thing I do want to point out is an absolute must is the fruit wood. Again, readily available. Even some of your parks, if you have parks nearby, you don't need a whole lot. You can freeze it. I cut it up into about 2-inch long pieces. And again, every other day or so, I'll throw one in. They like the taste. It cannot be dead wood. Which is why I recommend freezing it if you're going to store it. Once it's dead and dried out and that bark becomes bitter and the wood very splintery, the rabbits won't chew on it. It's just too uncomfortable for their gums. The other thing is mineral stone, a salt lick. This provides some additional minerals to the rabbit that they may not get otherwise. Routinely, and I mean that about once or ideally twice, 3 times a week, they should have this dried, very stiff Timothy or alfalfa hay, and you can find that very easily commercially in pet stores. Even Walmart carries this. And that'll last for quite some time. It's a very sweet smelling grass. There's no bad odor to it. You'll want a hopper for food. Mine's about empty here. You need to keep these clean. They are galvanized. If you can keep them out of the weather, that's great. I personally have my hutch on my back porch. Makes it easier for everybody in the winter when it comes to feeding or cleaning them. Water bottle, always mount that on the outside. Everything you mount on the inside is just taking up more of the rabbit space. So I keep that mounted on the outside. If you can keep it away from direct sunlight, that'll keep the water cool. It'll also, if you can keep it away from heat and maybe in a shady area, which is where your pen should be anyways, because rabbits will tolerate cold much, much, much better than they will tolerate heat. They will succumb. Oh, look, here comes a baby. Uh-oh, she's going to try to nurse. Typically, the moms only nurse once a day at night between like midnight and 5 a.m. So I'll be surprised if she lets this little one nurse. I'm going to put her back in there with her siblings. So the water bottle, again, this is something, if you can find a glass one, kudos. They're easier to clean. They harbor less bacteria, but you want to give this a good scrubbing at least once a week. Always be checking to make sure your water is clear. I happen to have a heated water bottle here, and I'll go over that in essentials for winterizing your rabbit. I want to let you know that although I purchased this particular hutch at the Tractor Farm Supply, you can buy this exact same hutch or one that suits your specific needs, much less expensive on eBay, and the shipping is free. You'll see this has a pull-out drawer, this particular model here of a manufactured hutch. That's for cleaning the droppings. I'm leaving mine in right now. It's November. I'm going to let that build up. That's a good source of heat for the rabbit through the winter. Pellets. Poop is energy, and energy is warmth. This one also has this panel door here, in addition to the hinged top. And I'll just get a whisk broom should the stool start to rise up through here, and I'll sweep out any excess pellets, and they'll go on the garden compost heap. So a lot to be able to recycle here if you have a garden. It makes rabbits even more inexpensive to keep. They are pound per pound of protein and cost to feed and maintain. They are the cheapest livestock with the most high yielding, low fat, low cholesterol meat that there is, more than chickens, horses, cows, pigs, any other livestock. I also want to tell you that rabbits are social animals, so a daily visit really helps them. They like toys. They like to play. That's her little ball, and she does nudge that around here and there. That's the basics for now. I'll follow up with more videos, particularly on winterizing your hutch. Everything from this basic care to meat to caring for the babies. For now, this is the Real Nature Nurse, and peace to all of you. Do no harm, but take no rabbit pellets either.